Hello, everybody. It's time for another podcast. Okay. I'm going to make a podcast theme song. Do. No, that's already a song.
What song is that?
Oh, I forgot it. I don't.
That's from Alvin and the Chipmunks.
No.
I specifically remember Alvin.
Oh, is that when he's in the shower?
Yeah. Or no, when he's
on this. Here he's doing with the circle. Not circle.
No, he was in the dishwasher.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He was taking a shower in the dishwasher.
Yeah, that whole scene. That was funny. Good movies. I miss those.
Yeah, we should watch those. Any whoosies, welcome back to another podcast.
Episode 5.
We just noticed yesterday that it's been a month since we've started doing podcasts because we upload every Friday.
Yeah, once a week, and we've already uploaded 4.
We just realized that yesterday.
I feel like we only just started like 2 weeks ago. It's nuts to think about. You know, these podcasts are going to be a good way for us to track how much time actually passes. Because it's once a week, so it's just like...
But even, you would think that we would like notice that with our regular videos because we upload twice.
Yeah, but...
And to see how many videos we have out now?
It just kind of falls into the mix. Just like 2 a week. One where the thumbnail is obviously different than the others. That'll be a lot easier to track. But anyways, yeah, 1 month already is nuts.
Yeah, it's gone by really quick. Yeah. That just like, it's always once like March, April hits, summer just like flies by, and then we're back to winter.
Yeah.
It's going to go by so fast. Which is, it's scary because, I mean, I know we're going to be here for 3 years, but sometimes I'm thinking, I'm like, oh God, like we need to do so much things before we leave. But it's like we have 3 years, but at the same time,
4.
Basically 4. At the same time, the time just goes by so quick, and like there's only certain amount of things that you'd want to do at like certain times of the year. So like there's a lot of things that I'd rather do during the winter and like travel to certain places during that time, or do specific activities in the summer.
We have to be more like D and plan out vacations like far in advance. That way we have stuff.
Well, I would do that because if that's the case, I already have like 3 trips planned in my head.
Well, we should do that because a lot of times we just kind of like, oh, let's do this.
We do last minute things, but last minute, well, I think more local trips are better for last minute things because those are
saying
fun.
Like distance traveling.
No, yeah, but if that's the case, I already for our anniversary, for my birthday, for Christmas, or not Christmas, but in the winter. But that also depends on our passport situation, so we'll see. Because we still have yet to get on that. There's just...
should do that at some point.
Yeah, we keep forgetting. I started the application, but then there was the question that I had sent you, and we never got back to it.
What question?
I don't know. It was like something that I had sent a picture to you, and I had asked, like, what do I do?
I do not recall. Anyways, how was your weekend, your day?
Are you asking me or the audience?
You.
Oh. My weekend or day?
Both. Start with the weekend.
Our weekend?
Well, yes, our weekend, but I'm saying like your perspective on the weekend.
God, what happened this weekend? We did a lot of driving, honestly. We spent more time in the car than we did doing the actual activities we drove around for.
Luckily, I love driving, so I don't have a problem with it. And jamming to music is always a good time.
Yeah, it's not like we really go far. It was like 2 hours, if that, barely. But if I can remember what we did.
We went to the Dolomites the first day, and then the second day we went up here. 30 minutes up.
Ah, yes, I remember. So Friday was mainly mountain sightseeing. That was nice. It was a nice little secluded area. I want to go to specifically like a little town in the Dolomites. Like that's all I've ever seen online, and that's where I want to go for one of our trips at some point this year during the summer. Just to like a little weekend out there, because if you see the like main Dolomites like in the center, like they're the really spiky mountains. That's how you can tell like the difference between those and regular mountains.
Oh,
But during the summer, it is so pretty and like secluded anywhere that you go up there. You remember those towns that when we were flying, when we moved, and I had asked, I'm like, what are all those little towns down there?
yeah, in the middle of the mountains.
Yeah, like they're literally in the middle of nowhere, but it's just like a tiny little town in between like the crevices of the mountains. And those are just a bunch of like little villages in the Dolomites.
That's pretty cool.
So I definitely want to take a trip out there. And the Airbnbs up there are like decently cheap for like the views that you can get. And it's just really pretty. That's definitely a weekend where it's like you don't really plan for. Why'd you make that face?
I don't know.
Okay. The Dolomites is more of a trip that I want to do, like not planning activities at all. Literally just walking around town, relaxing because it's so like peaceful and quiet and there's not
Yeah.
really much to do up there.
As long as we start earlier in the day, we really like left the house damn near close to like 4 o'clock.
We slept in. We had a sleeping situation in the morning.
Usually
it
that
delayed
first
us.
day, that first morning on a weekend, I'm just like, I want to catch up on my sleep because obviously I wake up so early throughout the week that we were supposed to be up at 10.
The thing
But
is that day we were already up at 6 in the morning to take care of things and
yeah,
then just never went back to sleep after that. But then we did end up accidentally falling asleep for a little too long.
yeah,
So
but
that's why we got
it's
delayed.
because me, I allowed it to happen because I'm just like, oh fuck, like it's the weekend, like I don't really care, like I just really wanted to get some more rest. But yeah, we should do more of that Dolomite stuff, just like earlier in the day, not at 4 o'clock hitting the road.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd want to do at least like just spend 2 nights up in the mountains at some point.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because the Airbnbs are like, you can find some for like $60, but
Hmm.
the really cool ones, like I was showing him some little boxes. It's literally just like a
Oh
box
yeah,
with windows, but it's really pretty because it's in the middle of nowhere.
yeah,
And stay in one of those. It's
we could do that.
very Instagrammy. Whenever you see those pictures of like people just sitting in bed staring at a window in the wilderness,
My hand smells like work.
you always smell like work when you come back.
Oh, well, my hand specifically today because I was doing a bunch of stuff.
Hmm. Anyways, that was our Friday. We just did some sightseeing up there in the mountains. We drove out a
Yeah,
bit.
very very beautiful. It made me happy. I like seeing mountains.
Yes, we love mountains. Coming from Alaska, you know,
Yeah,
love
and then
mountains.
this little town up here, we found the ski lodge that we'll be attending. We could have attended when we first got here. We just didn't
That would
like.
have been the worst snow to go down on, especially
Yeah,
for people who fall.
you. Yeah, when we went on what was it? Saturday, right? Yeah, it was
Yes.
Saturday. Obviously all the snow and we're going into summer, kind of in spring, but not really. I wouldn't call whatever the fuck this weather is lately spring. But yeah, the snow that is all the way up there in the mountains, it's like hard ass snow. Like if you fall like she would
It's just
every
ice.
15 seconds, you will break something. Swear to God.
I already walk out of there with bruises from the falls
Yeah,
that I do take on regular powdery snow, so
yeah.
I would definitely end up with injured legs.
But it was cool up there. I'm excited to be able to do that next winter. Get into a little more snowboarding. Maybe try out skiing, although I don't really care to try out skiing. It's not my thing. I already know it's not.
It's the
I'm gonna
same
stick to
thing.
snowboarding. Nah, but like snowboarding is cooler. I don't know. Pizza. I don't want to have to pizza. Stupid. Just looks stupid.
Snowboarding is the same concept. Toe
Yeah,
edge,
but
heel edge. It's all an edge.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just more inclined to snowboarding because obviously I skateboarded all my life and surfed all of like 2 times.
Yeah, well, it's not even that far. It's like 20 minutes,
Yeah,
30
we're
from us.
gonna.
So we'll probably end up getting like a pass, like a
Yeah,
season pass, and just head up there almost
yeah,
every other weekend
we will
because
frequent that place a lot.
we only ever went like once a year when we were in Alaska. We went like all of two whole times.
Yeah, and it's mostly because in Alaska we lived in Anchorage. We had to drive all the way out to Alyeska. I mean, we could have gone to the thing on base, but the on base one wasn't super cool. So Alyeska is the place to be, but that's an hour away. Like, I don't really feel like making that trip every weekend or every other weekend. It's kind of obnoxious. Here, though, just go 25 minutes up that way, and we are there. So we will
And we'll
definitely be attending
definitely
this year.
enjoy it a lot more because I mean that's the whole reason why I didn't really care for it in Alaska because since we only went all of two times,
Yeah.
you're basically starting over. So us going probably almost every weekend once winter hits, it'll be a lot more enjoyable. We'll have more practice and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, our weekend was chill. We just did that, and then yesterday we did some light shopping. I was meant to go and find a jacket. I found a jacket, but then I found a couple other things.
It
It's
was just
okay.
two
It
other
wasn't too much
things.
money. She needed to buy a bathing suit because I'm planning a little surprise monthly anniversary thing to an undisclosed location this weekend. Did I say this weekend? Whatever. Yeah. So she needed the bathing suit. I got her that. I got me a couple, like a pair of pants and like two tops. Yeah, the top and then the jacket. Yeah. I was trying to
Yes.
find some shoes, but they didn't have my size. And honestly, I don't know if I would have been happy with those shoes, anyways. I think I was just trying to force it because, like, I really want shoes that have like some kind of blue or navy blue in them. And those were like the only ones that I kind of liked, but I'm glad that they didn't have my size, honestly. I'm going to keep looking.
I told you the New Balances are nice.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go back to looking at the New Balances. I was just trying to force it, to be honest. Yeah. How was what'd you do today? I didn't really ask you about that.
I had a very slow day
Did you
today.
just
I didn't do much.
watch your Chicken Run movie? Is that it?
I watched Chicken Run, I watched Soul Surfer, and I started Graze just a little bit before he got home.
Started Grace?
Or not started Graze, but like I put on
Yeah.
Graze a little bit before he got home. But yeah, I
Interesting,
watched two
interesting.
movies, but while I was watching Chicken Run, I decided to get back to slowly doing my makeup videos again. I'm just very
Yeah, she
like
just posted. I just saw your first post in a long time on your
it wasn't
makeup
even
TikTok.
like a look that I was proud of. I literally did it in like 30 minutes.
It
I just
looked
wanted
good.
to like put it up to make an appearance and be like, "Hey, I'm back," and to get like TikTok to start noticing me again because the last time I
You can
actually
really take that
posted,
places.
I know, that's why I want to get back into it. But the last time I posted like a real, I had posted like one stupid little video when we were in Alaska thinking that I was going to get back into it, but I never did because that was around the time that we were going to like start moving and stuff. But before that, which is when I was like actually doing like real makeup things, like not necessarily like beauty looks, but like full on what you call it, like characters and stuff. That was in 2021. So it's been a while since I've been doing makeup, and I've been wanting to get back into it for a while now. I just did it in Alaska because I mean, I was working full time, so it wasn't really like a thing that I could just do because those looks take me like 6 to 7 hours to do. So that's
Yeah.
a full day's worth of like dedicating my time to that. So I couldn't do that when I was working full time. But now that I have all the time in the world, I want to get back into it, but I'm just limited on the things that I have.
Yeah, we don't have any of our house stuff yet, so all of our makeup is locked up somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. But I do
Yeah, all my
remember.
palettes and everything are locked up. I only have the look that I did today were the only like five colors that I have, which is literally just a red, orange, glitter, and like a neutral brown. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna mess around with these. So I use that, but that's literally the only palette that I have. And then other than that, I don't even have like a full face of thing that's just my everyday makeup, and then that's just not really much because I don't really wear a lot of makeup on like normal days or whatever. So I don't really have much to play with. And I also don't have any of like I have to rebuy all of that because I didn't even have that in Alaska. But I need to rebuy like all of my actual paints that I was using to do my character looks. My palettes will be here at some point, but the actual like character side of the makeup that I was doing, I need to rebuy all that because that just never made it with me when I moved in the very beginning.
Yeah. But yeah, I was gonna say that I remember being on FaceTime when we first started dating. You'd be spending all like it was a joint activity. Like you would be doing your makeup and we'd have something on like Netflix or something.
Yeah, I would just
We
be
would
in my bathroom and
hours
I
and
had
hours.
a setup. I would have like all my makeup and then I'd have my phone propped up on the little tripod with my light, and then I'd have my iPad with him on FaceTime, and then I'd have my laptop on the other corner with like Netflix going that we're watching together.
Yeah. All those hours just to film a little TikTok and then take it off in
Take it
like
off
10
right away.
minutes.
That's literally what I
She was
did with
so
this one.
funny to
I
me.
filmed 2 videos and I took it off. But yeah, no, those looks would suck because it would literally take me all day. I would start like in the afternoon and I'd be going till like 6, 7, 8, depending on when I started. And
Yeah.
then film a few videos and then it comes right off after.
Yeah. Yeah, you should definitely get back into that. I believe that you could really take that places. If there's any brands out there watching
I
or
definitely could
listening,
have because I had videos go viral on really good looks that I was
yeah,
proud of, but I
any
mean, I moved.
brands, any takers, sign her up, sponsor her because she deserves it. She's really good at the makeup thing, especially when it comes to doing these crazy characters. She could be the next James Charles, like if she really wanted to. Like I'm not even trying to hype it up. Like she really could. If she gets back on doing that on a consistent basis, that could really go places for her. I can already see it. Like makeup by B English.
Makeup
God
by
damn.
B. I
Makeup
have a
by
different
V.
name.
Or what?
Should I have a different name now?
What's your different name?
Because you said makeup by B.
Oh, not makeup by V or like some other name. Vienna sausage makeup. I don't
I'm gonna make a brand deal with like makeup in the case of a sausage or something.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
I'm gonna get with Elf.
But yeah, I hope you get to do that and I hope that you can take that places because that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Sounds
I
like money to
definitely.
me.
Yeah, I'm
Money, money,
sure.
money. Mr. Krabs.
I'm definitely gonna get back into it. I mean, I could even like today. I literally did the bed. I did the look on the bed, and thankfully, all of our walls are white, so I can easily use this as a backdrop compared to before. I bought backdrops for my videos, but I could
True.
easily like do professional looking videos or like good looking videos with just like sitting on the floor and using the background. It's just I don't have as many products as I need to get back to where I want to be at. But
Yeah.
I'll get there. I just need to rebuy some stuff.
Yeah. Well, anyways, on to our topics for the day.
Our
Like
favorite
30 minutes
topics.
later. I don't know how long that was, but
It was barely like 20 minutes.
she had some of these wrote down on her phone, but I just copied them onto my phone. No laptop today, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you guys
He
missed the
doesn't have his
laptop.
professional setup.
Yeah, she laptop's over there to the side. Today we just got the phone. Um, I'm not sure. Like, I know what you meant by this, but I want you to start off so that
Half of
I can
those
kind of
notes are
piggyback.
like half thoughts. Like if I see it, I know exactly what I was trying to say, but I just like I'm not gonna type out the full thing in there.
All right. Well, the realities of getting married young. Take it away. I'll add on and stuff.
No, I didn't really put too much thought behind these thoughts. It was just a quick little.
Christ, why even make a bullet point out of it?
No, because these are just like my notepad or like my note app is literally just like random thoughts that will just like come through my brain, but I didn't exactly like think of
Oh my
like
goodness.
talking wise. It was
What a
just a
waste.
topic. I'm just kidding. I know what to say, but I just gonna wing it here. Um, I mean, I think we touched a little bit on this, like barely. I think I made a few comments when we were talking about I think in the toxic relationship episode, I think the second episode that came out.
Mm.
Um with this, it was more of like I don't think I see it more now because of the videos that I post on TikTok with like military related things. A lot of people are like DMing me and asking questions about like processes and just like the whole marriage thing with getting young. I don't think people realize like there's a lot you got to think about and actually like talk about. Like I personally don't know anybody who was like in the right headspace to have gotten married at the age that we did.
Well, my friends in Alaska, Lennon, Womack. Well, actually, no.
Yeah, but
Womack,
this is I'm
he's
excluding military people because it's
uh,
a common military
well,
thing for people to get married young.
yeah.
That's what I mean. Like people in our everyday lives are just like I don't know anybody
Well,
who's even
no.
in that
All of
headspace
our
to just get married at 19,
all of
20.
our friends back home are either just getting. Well, some of yours are still just getting out of high school, right? Fuck.
Everybody's graduated now.
Oh, okay. They're all graduates, so they're like barely
They
starting
just
college.
graduated.
Mine are finishing college, but they're all. Oh, Ryan. Oh, yeah. Okay, so all but one are single, if I'm correct. Um, yeah, no, like everybody, they're all just doing their own thing, and they're all doing their own thing on her side. So it's just like we are in a very unique space when it comes to us versus our friends. I talk about it a lot. I don't know if I've said this to any of my friends, but like the difference is very clear. Like what lives we're living, and it's kind of ridiculous. Like we're all the
Oh,
same age.
100%. Anytime that we would go back home, we would go when the guys are there. So we'd hang out
Yeah.
with them. And we always just like
Like they're still
sit
talking
with
about
each other
college and homework, and I'm just like,
just the like college life. Like we always end up going back
yeah,
home and being like, wow, like the difference in our lives compared to what our
yeah,
lives would have been is
yeah,
just crazy because people are I mean, all college kids care about are like the next party that's coming up or getting ready for frat weeks. Like it's
yeah.
so different.
I mean, now they're all definitely concerned about real life stuff. Or Dylan, he actually just finally graduated college, so he's doing real life. But like, he's I've messaged with him every now and then, and he is already like right off the bat so shocked by the difference. He's happy about the difference, but he's shocked at like how it's
It's
just,
real life.
yeah, no.
It's not just school anymore. Yeah, that's kind of well, my little note was more about just like there's a lot of things that you need to come to terms with when getting married at a young age
Yeah, it's definitely
and
not
just like
anything light.
understand like it's yeah like you're getting married. It's not just because like oh we can let's do it. There's a lot of things that you have to think about. Like we definitely wouldn't have gotten married if it wasn't for the military because I mean he has that financial stability because of it. Otherwise like we I don't think we would have been in that position to just
I
do
mean,
it
no, I
because
would have just been
that's
in
obviously
college being a shithead.
the biggest thing when it
We
comes to
wouldn't have
marriage.
even been together if I had gone to college.
Oh no, absolutely not.
And not because I didn't want to, I still wanted to. She, for some reason, just always said that she never wanted to, which is whatever. You
Yeah,
can have that.
no, that wouldn't have happened. But yeah, there's just a lot of things when it comes to getting married young that I don't think a lot of people think about before they get into it.
Yeah, you guys got to really try to line up your futures, like what he wants versus what she wants, or she what she wants, he what he wants. You guys know what I'm saying. All inclusive.
And
Um,
it is with like when it comes down to it, it is going to be more of a coming to the middle. There are
Yeah,
going to be
at
some
least
things that it can't just be I get this, you don't get this.
yeah, you guys got to meet in the middle as much as possible. Now, in our case, it was kind of a
It was very much I give up everything and I come here.
yeah, and
But that
I didn't
was
even want that for her though. That's kind of like I wanted us to get married and whatever, but I told her I'm like if you're about to like give up your life dreams, like I do not want that for you because her life dream was always to like what the fuck was it?
ATF.
Yeah, you wanted to go to ATF, but then you had this road that you had paved for yourself that you were going to start at freaking TSA and then work your way up through there. And like, that's what
Yeah,
you
I
wanted to do.
had these plans set since I was like 6 years old.
Yeah. And so
But
I'm saying, like, I never wanted her to give up her dreams. And sometimes I still sometimes feel guilty because it's something that I told her way back when. I'm like, yo, like, if you decide to like if we get married and then you move here like I at some point in the future I don't want you to resent me for it because you're all here like I gave up my whole life and now we're married and blah blah blah. Like I never wanted her to resent me for that and I still hope she doesn't.
no, because this was a talk that we had before we got married.
Yeah,
Like we've had several serious conversations before getting engaged, before getting married, like really laying everything out to make sure that there was nothing. Because obviously, in this situation, a lot had to be sacrificed on my end.
yeah,
And also, just starting our life together at such a young age, we're also like, we're babies at that point and we're like just kind of throwing ourselves out there into life. So that was just like other topics to talk about. But yeah, no, this topic specifically about like the plans that I had and then us getting married and then that kind of went out the door. There were conversations had multiple times to make sure that that's what we wanted to happen or that's what I wanted.
yeah. So like if you guys have different professional goals, especially young, like if you're for some reason still in school or you're going to start school or like you're in those grounds of still building yourself up as an adult, like you guys really, really have to make sure that you guys talk everything out. And if somebody is going to give something up, you got to make sure that, you guys are in line with what's being given up and for what reason. And be okay with the fact that, if you do give this up, you may not get that chance ever again. Um,
Especially
otherwise, it may bite you in the ass later. And like I said, I still hope that she doesn't resent me for what she gave up. But so far, things are paying off, so we're looking good.
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. Excuse me. I'm not gonna complain. I'm living in Italy, but yeah, no. Obviously, it'll cross your mind about like, oh, what if I had done this or just all the what ifs. They're obviously going to cross your
Yeah,
mind, but at the end of the day, you need to be okay and like 100% set on that decision that you're going to make.
yeah. And number one thing, if you are to do this getting married young thing, um, don't don't strive to make anybody but yourself and your partner happy. That was a huge issue that we
Yeah,
had. And, like we said, it's very common to get married young in the military. You got every day there's an
yeah, that's
18,
the
19-year
life.
old getting married.
I don't think I've met anyone over the age of like 22 that wasn't
Yeah.
already married at like 19 and now they already have like 3 kids. Like
Yeah.
that's just the life.
Yeah.
It is what it
You have
is.
to be okay with somebody being upset. It just is what it is. And we all sometimes hey, there's families out there that are cool. Like if you go, hey, I think I found the one. We're gonna get married and whatever. They're gonna say yeah, but you know, both of our families had their reservations. But in the end, I mean, at that point, we're 18. At least I was living out of the house. She was still at home, but she was, working. She was doing what she had to do. She was acting as adult. Woo,
I was
English.
acting as adult.
You were acting as adult.
I
She
was
were
adult.
acting as an adult. All her, what do you do? You just have your phone bill, right? That's what.
Yeah, at that time
Yeah,
I
I
just
know.
had my phone bill, but this was I told somebody this some other time when somebody messaged me um through the whole, like I mentioned earlier, people were messaging me when I started uploading like military related things on my TikTok. This one girl specifically had asked, like, my boyfriend and I are like thinking about getting married, but we're 19. He was in the military, so it was the same situation. But the one of the main things that I had told her was like, him and I have never really like relied on our parents. Like, we had jobs, we paid for what we needed to.
Oh, I didn't pay for shit except for gas and to have fun with my friends. I'm not even gonna lie. My money
Well,
that I made
yeah.
in high school, I made like two, maybe $300 every 2 weeks. That's spending money. Okay. For me to be requested to pay a light bill here and there is absolutely ridiculous to me. That is not my job. But she
Yeah.
was definitely in charge of her phone. And even when I got into the Air Force, I offered to pay for my phone, but my mom refused me at the time. But then later on, I still ended up paying for it. So, gee. Anyways,
Yeah. Well, your situation, you joined the military, so
yeah.
you're already on this
But yeah,
other side
you
of
in high
things.
school
But
and
when he was gone and doing his military things,
yeah,
I was still working. Anything that I wanted, I ever since I was little, really, I've never relied on like my parents buying me things. I think for like Christmas and birthdays, obviously, but like when it came to things that I've wanted, I think since I was literally like 6, 7 years old, I always had that mentality of, well, if you want something, you gotta earn it. Like,
yeah,
I bought my phone, I've always paid for my phone. I've never like relied on my parents for stuff
yeah,
like that. So that was something that I had told the girl who had asked the question. I'm like, we've never really had to like rely just on our parents for everything. Like, we know how to be ourselves and like take care of ourselves if we needed to.
yeah.
So that's
More
something
so,
very important.
more so you though. I can't even lie. I was a bit pampered growing up, and not because I really wanted to be. Like my mom and my dad have always done a lot for me, but not so much at my request. It's just because it's their job, but then they're the kind of people to want to do extra. So it's just like I've been pampered to that extra extent because of their will. But like I'm grateful and everything, but I never asked for those extra efforts. And I don't, it makes me sound a little ungrateful sometimes. At least that's what they say. But uh I was always willing to do things on my own if need be. And I've shown a lot throughout the years to them that like they can tell me stuff, but at the end of the day, I got my own mind and I will make it up. I will do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And that's going back to what I was saying. Like, don't strive to make people happy if you're gonna be getting married young, whether you're in the military or not.
Yeah, no, like
This
you're your own person
this
at
is
that
a
point.
bond between you and your partner. You guys have to make the right decision for yourselves. Think everything out. Make sure you are uh, in line with what you want for yourselves and each other. Make sure your goals are common in the near future, at least. Distance, you're young, there's
We'll
time to
figure
figure
it
that
out.
kind of stuff out. But in the near future, just make sure you guys go through everything step by step, and you should be fine.
It's not going to be perfect, obviously, in the
No, no,
beginning.
God, no.
It's going to take a bit to get
But
used to, for sure, but
that's
that's just what life is.
yeah, no, that's just what life is. Like art, that's one of the concerns. Obviously, like, oh, you guys are young. There's so many things to figure out, or whatever.
We'll figure it out.
Motherfucker, both of our parents are divorced. Like, nobody has it figured out. Like, you can
Yeah.
even the couples, even the parents that I know that have been married for I don't know 15, 20, 25, going on 30 years, they don't have shit figured out either. They just
Yeah.
happen to be on the same page more often than others are. Like, no matter how many parents I've asked for advice, even to get any kind of insight from anybody, because I do that a lot. Any older couples that I know are successful, and even the failed ones, I always ask for advice. And the basic thing I get from everybody is that no matter what, nobody really knows what. There is no right or wrong. All you can do is communicate with the person you love. That's what it comes down to. And
Yeah.
if shit fails in the end, shit fails. It's okay. Do not be bothered, because there's 60, 70 year olds that just then find the one. Like, do not have this pressure of needing to have everything figured out, because there are people decades older than us that definitely still don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Um, one of the things, I remember when my mom was having her reservations, she was like, you know, this is all cool for you guys and everything, but marriages and relationship don't just feed off of love. You can't eat with love. And then she paused and gave me some like dirty look, and she was like, you can eat some things with love, but not all. And I'm like, alrighty.
That's nasty.
If you know, you know. If you don't know, good for you. Keep an innocent mind. But yeah, that begs the question of how far unconditional love can take you. And honestly, I'm not too convinced that unconditional love is really a thing.
I need like an exact definition of the difference between
Let's look it up.
unconditional and conditional.
Well,
Like, what are the boundaries here?
conditional love is like, oh, if you do this, I'm not going to love you, like, on a conditioned basis. Like, I will love you if you do this, and I won't love you if you do this. Unconditional is literally like, no matter what the circumstance, I love you. Like, you could
I feel
murder
like
somebody right now. I still love you.
I feel like that's right up to a certain extent. Obviously, when it gets to like those kinds of things, they're like infidelity. Like that's a different no. Like you can't
Yeah,
keep pushing
the
that.
reason,
But
because I remember this being a little debate that I had with somebody on a TikTok video where it said like,
yeah, you love commenting on TikTok
oh yeah, on
videos.
TikTok,
You
I'm
love to
ready to
comment.
debate and do whatever. I love commenting, but this one post is like, maturing is realizing that uh having the feelings of love. This is paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what it said, but the feeling of love can only take you so far. At some point, it becomes a choice, and then there's all these like, from my point of view, if you're saying anything otherwise, you are a child. Like, you have to be a teenager or some little kid that just doesn't know what you're talking about. Or somehow, if you're an adult and you still haven't figured it out, that's on you. But I do agree with the fact that that initial feeling of love and like having a crush can only take you so far. When you get to that long-term relationship status where you're like definitely going the distance, or at least going to make the attempt, getting married, X, Y, and Z, I think every day that feeling of love becomes more, if not completely, a choice. It's definitely completely a choice, but like, love falls more on that choice than it is just a feeling.
Huh?
Love is a choice. Like, it's not just a feeling that, like, yeah, you wake up every day and you're like, yeah, I love you. But like, every day you got to make that choice to be like, I love this woman next to me. I'm going to do this and this and this for her because you are the one I picked, and this is what I'm going to do for you. I don't
I
think that we can
guess.
just survive a long term relationship through lust. I guess that's the better way of saying it.
Oh no, no, well, yeah.
Through
Now I
lust
see
and
that
that initial
a little
crush
bit better.
feeling.
Yeah, because that's the whole like honeymoon phase, basically. It's like you're
Yeah.
all lovey dovey in the beginning, but to keep that spark alive, you need to continue to do
Yeah.
all these things for each other and make it still feel like you're in that beginning. Like you don't want to lose that honeymoon phase. You obviously like don't want to like start to get boring or your relationship starts getting to that point where like you're questioning things. But that's where you do have to make those choices every day to keep the spark alive, keep things going between you two, do something new, like just to keep it alive, I guess.
Yeah. I let me look up the exact definition of unconditional love just so I can make sure I'm cooking. Unconditional love, simply put, is love without strings attached. It's love you offer freely. You don't base it on what someone does for you in return. You simply love them and want nothing more than their happiness. This type of love is sometimes called compassionate or agape love. What? Might sound somewhat familiar. Well, I guess put like that. I
I
guess
saw I saw this. I wrote this question down because um this podcast that came up. Actually, it was a podcast with one of the girls from Love Is Blind from like so long ago. Anyways, their podcast came up, and this was a question that they were talking about. But she was saying that unconditional love is more of love that's between a parent and their child, and that
mm,
a relationship is
I
more
feel like,
conditional.
or no, I wouldn't say conditional. That's
Well,
more.
because they put it in the perspective of conditional is that binding contract because you are married. Like
Yeah,
that's that contract there. Unconditional love is, I mean, they birthed you, so that was their
I
perspective on it.
guess. You know what? I guess I can agree with that. But even then, that can still be conditional because like there are some parents that is just like, yo, if you do some fuck shit, like I'm disowning you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like it. I don't. That's why I'm saying honestly, I'm not even entirely convinced that
I think
unconditional
in a
love
normal
in a human way,
human white people type family, like
white people. I don't.
because
Let's not call out
no,
races
I'm
now.
not trying to do that, but like they're just like the perfect standard that people just look at. There's
That
no
they.
trauma there. There's no divorced parents, no child trauma.
Well, there are some. Well, I get. I see what you're saying. I guess, but I guess on a human to human basis, I don't think there is such a thing as unconditional love. Yes, you can make the argument for parent to child, but I think unconditional love for me, if I had to say it was real for sure, that's more of a relationship that exists between, yourself and God.
I saw
Because
somebody comment about that.
yeah, if anything, that's the only type of unconditional love to me that exists
Yeah,
because
people were saying like you that's not possible with
you
humans.
yeah, you're meant to be forgiven and loved for who you are no matter what by God. You will be forgiven. Uh what's the word? Provided you pray and ask for forgiveness here and there. You can't just be a dickhead and
And then
expect
all of
to
a
be
sudden
forgiven.
ask for
Yeah, no, no,
something.
no. It can't be like that. But that is definitely the only way unconditional love exists. Human to human, like whoever commented that, no way that exists. Because if that was the case, divorce rate would be 0%, wouldn't it? There would be
I
no such
guess,
thing
yeah.
as disowning because no matter what, you love, and it needs to be like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, to me, love is more, sucks to say, conditional, but I guess that's just the reality of it because
That's what you
I
make of
can't.
it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess love is what you make of it, but I can't sit here and act like I have unconditional love for you. But then if you like go and sleep with some Italian mobster, I can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, 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 I love you. Carry on.
No, well, that's why that was the first thing that I had said, that I feel like it unconditional love is only okay up to a certain extent, because once it comes to somebody going to some extreme cases, then obviously that's not okay.
Yeah,
You're just doing anything against what you should be doing.
yeah. So basically, love is a choice, especially when it comes to long term relationships. That's something that you have to work at. The love, the
And just
everyday
something that you
love.
need to understand, like both sides. Like
Yeah,
you need to understand that days are going to be boring, days are going to suck.
yeah,
It's not always going to feel lovey-dovey. Things aren't always going to be like so romantic, but
Yeah.
that's just on you to make sure you keep doing those little things. You're saying those small things. You're following what or how the other person likes to receive love. Like you're just
Yeah.
making sure you're doing those little things
Gotta make those choices.
to keep it going. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh fuck! I was gonna say something else. Oh, and it was good too. Damn. Whatever. Moving on.
It'll come back.
Uh, we. Oh man, I messed up the notes. Right now, we're obviously in the beginning stage of our marriage where we're just kind of enjoying ourselves, but eventually we will have to get into the parenting side.
Yeah.
But actually, wait, damn, my notes were right. I'm so sorry, damn.
It's because you don't have your laptop. You're not in a
You
professional
know
setting.
what? Yeah, you're right. It's because I can't look at the screen like this on the laptop. It's just kind of down here. But from unconditional love and how far I can take you, I guess if anything, we'd be going back to the very beginning. This doesn't even really whatever. What's the right age, if there is one, to get married?
Ugh, that's hard to say because
Wrong.
I don't even. I don't think there
is
is.
no right.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying earlier.
there is not
There's
a
like I
perfect
said,
age. You can be 18, 14, and friggin' other.
14.
There's countries out there where people get married young.
That is true. That is true. That's
so,
how. Yeah.
I mean, that's just a culture. That's how it is. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's children, literal children, under the age of 18 who are getting married. But and there's also people 60, 70 years old that are going to get married. Like, it's whenever you feel like you found your person and you think it's right, then you do it. Like,
yeah. Like I said, that's one of our parents' biggest criticisms of us, for some to this day, that we are too young and like we haven't figured ourselves out as
we're doing great.
individuals and whatever. But my response to that would just be like, look, it doesn't matter what age you get married. Like she said, you guys have to be on the same page, and if you got the same goals in mind and everything lines up, you are good to go. There is no right or wrong answer, because
and like I wouldn't want to learn life by myself either. Like,
that's another thing. Like they said, you guys haven't even figured yourself out as individuals. In my opinion, I think it's better to grow up as adults together as opposed to being made as an adult individually and then having to fit somebody into the way you've cultivated for the last, let's say, 10, 12 years. Because, normally, quote unquote, you're looking to get married 28, 30.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that's at least that.
You said 25. In that range.
Yeah, 25 to 30 years old. Like you've spent from 18 years old through your young adulthood, mid adulthood, like people act like that's the norm, which in a societal way, for some reason, that's been made to be the norm. But there really should be no norm. Like it's when you're ready, it's when you feel like you found the one and you guys communicate it and make sure everything's good to go. That's my opinion. And if our kids later in the future say, yo, 18, 19 years old, I found the one, we're on the same page. All right.
I'm just
what the fuck am I going to say?
Everything that we just said right now. Just play the video back.
Yeah, no.
It's the same thing.
Just make sure you get your shit together. Because even though, or like I said, I guess I say get your shit together, but you don't necessarily have to. Just try your best. Try your best.
You definitely
make sure
need
you
to
have the best
be
intentions.
at a certain point in life. Like you can't just be like in high school and be like, I love this man. Let's go get married. It's not that easy. You definitely need to be like somewhere in life. But other than that, figure things out along the way.
Yeah, I would say at least have a groundwork. Just a ground.
Like you can't be out here with $4 in your bank account and then trying to get married.
Yeah, no. At least
there are some things that do need to be set in place.
Yeah. Have some finances in order. Make sure that you as a man are able to provide, or Yeah,
That's also just something that you would need to talk about with your partner, is like learning how the other person feels when it comes to that. There are some people where it's like they want to be traditional, and they really only want the man to provide literally everything, and the wife is at home doing whatever she's doing. And
yeah,
there's some people that do 50-50, mix it up. That's
yeah.
just a
When we
conversation you have.
first got together, I wasn't too keen on the her doing stuff. That sounds bad. I I wasn't, because I'm like I've been raised,
He's been a
take her out on a
gentleman from the
date,
very beginning.
take her out on a date, pay for the meal, fucking hold her door, do this, do that. Like I have the traditional mannerisms, and like I'm okay with her working. Obviously, like she can do normal people things. It's just I am very like I want. That's how I was raised to be. Like I'm going to take care of you. This life that we're living in Italy is pretty ideal for me. I'm bringing
Yeah,
home
I
the big
can't do
bucks,
squat. I'm just
and
chilling in bed,
yeah, well,
cleaning and making food.
well, that's on you to get creative with your time, but
Yeah, I know.
but yeah, no, this is what I wanted, and I'm having fun. I hope you are too.
Yeah, it's great.
We are in Italy.
Yeah, not gonna complain
But
there.
yeah, there's definitely no right or wrong age to get married. It's just whenever you feel ready and you have that shit for the most part figured out. And then after that, obviously, the conversation of kids. I've been asking that question a lot because if some of you know, we probably intend to start popping them out in the next like year and a half. And I've been asking a lot of,
Soonish.
our parents, my friends' parents, just like going around to different adults, other adults, like, yo, like, how do you know when you're ready and whatever. But it's the same answer that I would get if I were to ask, how do I know if I'm ready for marriage thing? You're not really ever ready. Well, at least when it comes to kids, you're not really ever ready. For marriage, you should definitely be ready.
Yeah.
Kids though, the same answer I've gotten is you're not really ready, because
Hoping,
there's no manual on
yeah.
babies. You just kind of do it and you ask questions, figure it out along the way. Especially with the first child. I always hear that that's like a trial and error basis.
Yeah. Hoping that you would have kids after you get married. That's just like something you need to be okay with when getting married. Like, for getting married and the kids talk was already there, then kids is a possibility, cuz you're doing things can happen on accident, and it's going to happen when it happens. So that's just something that
Yeah.
like you need to be ready to just take on and learn.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I am sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, hesitant at the idea of having kids in the next year and a half, but I bring peace to myself by knowing like whether we have kids in the next year and a half or 10 years from now, it's going to be that same hesitation. It's just the unknown for me, really. Like, oh fuck, like there's a kid that I
I
have,
mean,
that there's a
that's
child that
how
I
it
need to
always
take
is
care
with
of.
the dads. The dads are
Yeah.
always like,
And
eh.
yeah, now I have this extra responsibility that I have to take on as a man. Like I take care of you as a man, you are my wife. Like I have things that I need to do for you. Now I'm going to take care of this little booger butt, and like figure out that whole relationship. And like, not to say that my dad wasn't present. My dad was definitely present in my life, but at the age of, I believe it was either like 10 or 12. I'll say 12. A whole thing went down with my parents before they got divorced and whatever. So he had to move out of our house. From the age of 12 up until, I left for the Air Force, like, yeah, I saw him, obviously. I still have a relationship with my dad, but I never had a day to day, somebody, a dad figure to look up to. That's
Mhm.
why my mom and my sister at some point towards the end of high school criticized me a lot for it. I was never really home during my teenage years. I was always at my friend's house because my friends had, a whole family. Mom and dad were home, they were married, they were happy, or, the appearance of happy. I know every couple has their problems, but like they had the ideal family that I now need in my teenage years, because I'm in those essential, crucial years
You need that other
that you're
figure.
learning to take on that next step in life, to be a man.
Especially as a guy. I think it's
Yeah.
very important. You
Oh
need that
God.
father figure.
Yeah. And
There's so many
luckily,
things that like obviously I would do anything for my child no matter what and make sure that they're set on literally anything, but at the same time like there's always going to be something about a father son relationship
yeah.
that needs to be there.
And like my mom did her best, and I'm super duper grateful, of course. Like she worked her ass day and night. But and it's no shot against her. It's just there's there's that thing. It's like what some things that moms can do for a child, a dad can't do. Some things a dad can do, mothers can't. So it's just like I missed out on a few things here and there, and I tried my best on my own to recuperate that through my friends' dads. I had like 3 or 4 different dad figures, one of which I saw most of the time every weekend, and as much as I possibly could, because I'm just like I need it. I knew that I needed it, so I went on search of it. So yeah, no, that's definitely something that I I wouldn't say struggle with, but I have the biggest intention to make sure that I do good at, because I definitely don't want my child to be missing a father figure.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, because again, my dad was present. I saw him, but like it's the day-to-day
Yeah,
things.
it's different when you see your parents in a divorce situation where you're doing the half and half or going every other
Yeah.
weekend compared to lives at the house, see
Yeah,
them
a
all the
direct
time.
example. That's what I've made so clear to her over the years that we've had these conversations. Like I have the best intentions as a father when that time comes, and I even have the best intentions in marriage, because my parents got divorced. Her mom had separated from her dad, got divorced within the last couple of years. So it's just like we both know what goes wrong and how it can go wrong
And how bad it can get.
and how bad it can get. Yes. So we both have talked about it a lot, that there's just like certain things that we don't want to replicate in our marriage, and we try every single day to not, you know, we don't want to shit the bed.
Yeah.
Basically. We're on the same
We're
page as far
obviously
as
not
that
going to
goes.
be perfect parents, but whoever is a
Yeah,
perfect
no.
parent,
Like I said, there's no right or
especially with
wrong.
a newborn,
Oh
that's
God. Yeah.
that's just you figure it out in the moment with
Yeah.
your person.
But before we even get to us having kids, we're planning on getting a dog. You know, get a little practice with a puppy, get the parenting styles
Yeah.
down. I already know how the parenting styles are going to go, to be honest. She's going to obviously be the more strict one. I've already cemented my place as the fun guy. All right. I'm like Kawhi Leonard. I'm a
I'm
fun
not gonna
guy.
I don't plan on being like a super strict like
No,
you
I know
can't
you're
do
not going to
this.
be.
There's gonna be rules, obviously,
Yeah,
as any
you're just going to enforce
thing there
them.
should be. Yeah.
I'm just going to suggest, like, it's a light suggestion. Like, oh, you probably shouldn't do that, but like if you do, I'll take care of
No, I want to create the space with our kids to where
it. Yeah,
like
no.
no matter what conversations are had, no matter what the topic is, like
Yeah.
I want them to know that like there are no boundaries. Like you can come to us
Yeah.
for anything. But obviously there will
But
be the rules when rules need to be placed, but
when it comes to cultivating that relationship of them being able to tell us anything, that's one thing I also want to make a point of when we get there. Or I guess we can talk about it right now. We have to make sure we have the correct reaction to whatever the kids say to
oh well
us,
yeah.
because that obviously influences what they tell us.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a
That
lot of
explosive
things.
reaction is what you can't
Yeah, a
have. I
lot of
also just
things.
don't want to be that kind of parent to begin with.
Yeah, a lot of things in our teenage years went untold because of our fear of the reactions that our parents were gonna have. Because, you know,
And
I don't
now I
know
tell my
about.
mother everything. Now she knows everything. But
Yeah,
in the time of high school years.
yeah, and I don't know if you ever were like you tried to tell your parents something and then it just backfired, so then that's why you stopped telling them. That's kind of what happened to me.
No. I just never said anything.
Oh, well,
I
then that's
mean,
on you. But for me personally,
well, it's
I
because I got caught doing things multiple times, so obviously I'm not gonna. I know how they're gonna react. I wasn't gonna go tell them.
well, again, that's on you for getting caught. You should have just,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
yeah, you're an idiot.
Shut up.
My case was definitely one of those where I'm just like I tell what happened, and then it didn't go my way, or not that it should have gone my way, but like
It
I
wasn't an
wanted a lighter
understanding
reaction, and there was just no like,
in between.
yeah, no, I got boomed on, and it was bad. So then I always had this fear of like, "Ugh, I'm not gonna really say anything. And even now, there's still things like I'm open to telling things now. It's just now I still don't tell them. I'm not gonna volunteer the information now. I'm just not. I don't really care to volunteer whatever happened in my teenage years. But if my parents ever ask on a specific basis,
If
like,
it
yo, what
comes up.
happened here or whatever, like I'll volunteer it at that point because you asked. But yeah, no, that's just one thing that I definitely want to make a point of when our kids come around saying like, "Hey, I shit the bed," or like, you know,
Yeah.
something bad. But yeah, I already know that I'm gonna be definitely a lot more chill. We're both gonna be chill, but she's gonna be the enforcer, and I'm just kind of gonna like,
He's just gonna be back there.
yeah. I know I'm gonna be the type of dad that gets in trouble with the child.
Lovely.
Oh,
I
oh,
already have a child. He's the
100%.
child.
Because like obviously you want these rules and you
Yeah,
would
it's
like
gonna be
them.
like it's time for bed, but you're running around the house with freaking Nerf guns with a child, and you guys don't shut up.
Nerf guns, try lightsabers.
Or same thing. Yes,
Gosh.
you're gonna be a child. You will turn into the child.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be one of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's fun for me.
I'm glad you'll have fun.
Yeah. But I'll try my best to be on that same page. I'm gonna be more of like a retroactive discipliner. Ugh, that's like kind of bad, I feel like. You wanna be on top of it. You're gonna be the proactive discipliner. You're gonna be like, hey, I do not want this to happen. Please, whatever. Like you're gonna set your rules and whatever. But then once shit happens, you're gonna be all pissy and like, oh god, I say all these things and nobody ever does anything around this damn house. You're gonna slam the fucking the our bedroom door, and then I gotta go talk to the kids like, listen guys,
To huddle up.
team huddle, everybody come on. And then I would just be like, look, do y'all want me to sleep on the couch? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm in trouble too now because I probably played a role in this.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I'm gonna have to be that guy where it's just like we gotta huddle up as a team, me and the kids, come to an agreement, and then I'm gonna just take one for the team and be like, listen, you guys go back to the Xbox, place your computers, go fuck off, play with your friends outside, and then I'm gonna go back into her room like, listen, babe, it's my fault. These kids, like, they told me it's just that I forgot to tell you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be something like that. And then I'm gonna be the one shit on, and I don't really care. I'll do anything for my. I'll take a bullet for those little rascals. Just mess up the hair, you little rascal. Oh, have we picked the names right? Like we kind
We
of picked.
haven't
We have the
decided
girl
on the
name.
guy's name.
Yeah, the guy's
Which
name is
is
still
what
up in
we
the
should
air.
have set because that's what we want. We want a
Yeah,
little boy.
I'm gonna have so like. I already know that I'm gonna have so many like. I don't want to say white dad, but like I'm gonna be the dad jokes.
You already do that now.
Yeah. Oof, it's gonna be
You're
so
already
good.
an awkward dad
Yeah, but
type
then when we
person.
actually get to have kids, I'm gonna hit that new level. Like that's just stuff that's gonna be unlocked in my brain, and it's gonna be great. Those little
So
rascals.
excited.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
But anyways, when it does come to that age where shit starts to happen, as far as getting in trouble, but then now on the other side of things, when do we think would be a good time for our kids to do the dating ting?
Well, I already know you're gonna say like 30 years old if we have a girl.
32. She will be locked in a room playing with Barbies until she's 32.
It's hard to say right now because it's definitely gonna depend how they're acting at that time. And if they're a well behaved child who has respect and doesn't really cause us trouble, or if she likes to terrorize us and do whatever she wants and doesn't like to listen, then at that point, you're not going anywhere. But
Yeah.
if she turns out the way that I would like for her to turn out and just, tell us when things are happening and it's letting
Oh,
us
no, no, no,
know.
no, no, no. Let's not wait for
Well,
her to tell
no, I
us when
didn't mean
things are happening.
specifically. I just no, I'm not talking specifically about like
Oh,
the thing. I'm
okay.
talking about just in general, like having that relationship with our kids to where they're like, this is happening in my life, whatever. Like
Yeah.
once that relationship is there, then
Yeah.
I feel
I
like that's a
think,
little easier to be more like, oh, okay, I'm fine with that happening.
I think, because I don't really care if our kid is a boy or girl. I think a good age for them to start dating. I think a good age to date in general would be
16.
starting probably around like 16, 17. Because
Yeah.
obviously at that point you're in high school, like, things are gonna happen. Like, I'd be so willing to chaperone our daughter and then give the keys to our son and then just fucking him off for the rest of the night. I'm just kidding. No. uh
Jeez.
no, I'd be willing in either case to just, have that conversation like, oh, like, you asked her out for this Friday, or oh, so and so asked you out on Friday. All right, cool. Like, I'll drive you there. Like, I'm gonna make sure that,
No, definitely want to be present. Like
yeah,
always want to be like, oh, I'll take you. I'll pick you up. That's
yeah.
always going to be
I
something I
don't,
think I want to make sure that's there. Like
yeah,
no matter where you are, take you, pick you up. I don't care if it's 2 in the morning, especially in high school. I want
yeah,
it to be known that like call us if anything's happening. You are not driving. You're not just. I'll pick you up.
yeah. But yeah, I think a good age to start dating is around that high school age, 15, 16. Anything under that to me is honestly useless. Because what the fuck? Like, what are you doing in middle school? Like, fucking go to civics class. Worry about your grades. Civics or middle school is,
That was civics.
yeah, no. Like, middle school is just fucking go play with your friends outside. Like, barefoot. Go play with your friends outside barefoot. That's what I was
Go get
doing.
muddy.
Fucking go, yeah, do something. Like, as a child in elementary, go outside barefoot. In middle school, do the same exact thing, just like you have a little more, like, little less boundaries in the neighborhood. Because I remember in elementary, like,
Yeah,
we
I
had to
rode my
stay
bike
with,
around like the one little circle around
yeah.
my
But then
place.
in middle school, they were like, oh, you guys are growing up now. Now you get the entire fucking, like,
You get the whole
not just
neighborhood.
our street, but now you get our whole neighborhood, and you can go behind the houses. So that was like,
That was the other thing.
ooh, and you could go
riding
behind the houses.
riding behind the houses was something
Damn.
different.
Yeah, no, it was lame in elementary school being like, oh, like, we got to stay in
Riding around in a
eyesight,
cul-de-sac.
like only go where I can see you.
Yeah.
Lame. Middle school, you know what? Come back when the lights are off and you're allowed to run behind the houses. If anybody bitches, I'll take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how that should be going. Or if your kid's a gamer, just don't fuck up your eyes. Like, don't be too close to the screen. God, I hate when kids do that
Yeah,
nowadays.
definitely limit
Yeah,
yourselves. Get
but in
outside
in
for
high school
something
though,
or
like, yeah, I'm cool with that. You know, ninth, 10th grade, like, hey, I got a little
well, yeah,
crush at school.
especially high school because that's when like elementary, middle school, you're with the same kids.
Yeah,
High school,
even
you
in
are
high school.
too, but that's when you're seeing a lot more. You're
Yeah,
introduced to new things, older people because now you're with juniors, seniors. So that's
yeah,
when you start, developing those feelings.
yeah. But then that's the next thing. When's a good time to lose your virginity?
That's a tough question.
18 for me personally. You know what? I'll be nice. 17. Because if I'm saying you can start dating at 15, 16, like I don't expect for you in that
I
first year of just like discovering those feelings to just suddenly like fucking
I feel like
open the
that
floodgates.
talk definitely still needs to be had once the dating starts happening. Because in today's world,
Well, no,
that's just like already that's already out there. People they already know what's happening. So if you're already giving them the okay to be like, yeah, you can date, you can go on dates.
yeah,
You can't expect these
dating,
kids to be innocent.
dating. But no, that's exactly my fear of
They're
kids
not
these
going to be
days.
innocent.
Because I already like kids these days are doing random shit in fucking sixth grade. Like, God, oh, kids are so disgusting. The world is disgusting these days, and it irks my brain how disgusting kids are these days.
That's what I'm
They
saying. They're
think they're
going to
so
be
fucking
exposed to
grown.
it. So you can't expect that if you start letting them date at 15, 16, that they're going to go for the next 3 years of not wanting to try
Well, you
anything.
know what? At that point, I'm gonna hold myself accountable, and we're gonna hold ourselves accountable on how we did as a parenting job based off what they communicate to us, and hopefully that communication is good stuff.
Well, that's why going back to the first thing that I said when we started talking about all this is that I can't really like say exactly how we're going to react or like how I'd want to because it's going to depend on how they're acting at that time and if we have that relationship with them. It's going to be a lot easier to have those conversations if they are
Yeah.
behaved and not being reckless, but if it is a situation where they're just being stupid kids who don't like to listen to their parents,
No, there's
that's
no
going to
way.
result in other things.
There's no way. If my genes are involved, my our kids are
Mixed
gonna
with mine
be
though, mine take over a lot.
nah. Mine are strong. I got strong swimmers. No, I just that's one thing that I've said a lot, like jokingly but serious at the same time. Like, I hope the temperament, at least, of our children is a lot like me because my temperament is very ideal. I feel like I'm very calm. I don't stress about shit. I have a good head on my shoulders. Obviously, most of what that good head on my shoulders is what I was taught growing up. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to hold ourselves accountable for how we're raising our children. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it comes down to the kid.
Yeah.
The kid. Like, they're going to make that choice. They have their own free will. And I just hope that what we pass on to them is good enough for them to realize that, like, you know, I'm honestly at peace if they lose their virginity at like 15, 16, 17, but it's something special. Like, this is a solid relationship. Like, I don't want them just going around willy-nilly fucking like, oh yeah, she was special, but like, yo, she was so last week, like on to the next thing. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I really hope that I'm able to pass on to our son, God willing, we have one, um, that he has a good head on his shoulders like me, that he's able to identify like, yo, I want it to be a special thing. Because that's one thing I've always held dear to me is my virginity. I didn't lose it until I did it with her. And it's because I wanted to make sure that, especially
At
for the first
what?
time, dude, like,
18,
are you
19? How
kidding
old are
me?
you? 18?
Yeah, I was 18. That's why I said 18, because I feel like I did it right. Okay, I waited for somebody special and I made sure, because even if we didn't make it to marriage, I can live at peace knowing that I held out for somebody special, like somebody that I had genuine feelings for.
Yeah.
So that's my intent. Like, if my kid, if our son or daughter is fucking, oh God forbid the daughter thing, if they were 16 years old, but like, yo, I've been seeing this kid for months and like things are going really well and blah blah blah, like, if it's an ideal situation, I'd be at peace. But if it's just some like on some fuck shit, dude, oh, I'm gonna be pissed. Especially if it's a girl. Because that's the last thing I want is for my daughter to just like start young and then go on some whorish rampage Oh my god.
That's when
That's
they get locked
honestly
in the
one of those
house.
conditional love things that I might just give her the boot. I would hate to have a whore daughter. That question that you see all over social media, gay
Whore
son or
daughter, gay
thought
son.
daughter,
Yeah.
gay son every day of the week. If I had a thought daughter, I don't even know what I'd do with myself. Like, why even have her at that point? She's just fucking anything that moves at this point. Like, what's the point of me trying to teach her anything?
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
some are tough to get through.
So yeah, no, if I have to have that conversation with my son or daughter that it happened, I would just hope that they can tell me that it was a genuine connection. I
Yes.
can be at peace with that. But ideally, please don't start until you're like, 17 minimum. 16 is still on the young side for me. I mean, although I got my license at 16, so it's like if I
Yeah,
can
at
drive at
that point, it's
16.
like,
Yeah, but you can drive at 16. You're not particularly ready to be a parent at 16. You've been taught to drive. You know how to drive when you get your license. You don't just fuck and then have a kid at 16 and that's like, oh, God, no. No, 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 no. That's one thing we also have to be clear about when we have that talk. Like, you guys,
well, duh.
that's just any, that's just a general thing. Like, the consequences
That's
are
gonna come
serious.
up anyways.
And although I'm pro-choice, honestly,
Oh my
if
god.
our kid comes home with some bullshit about how they're pregnant or they got some girl pregnant, yeah, fuck you, you're having the kid. That's what you get. That's what you get. In that scenario, I am pro-life as fuck, motherfucker. You are having that child. Because what the fuck are you doing? Having unprotected sex. Or don't use the excuse of, oh, the condom blew. Fuck you.
I mean,
Unprotected.
sometimes it does happen. You never
Well,
know.
you know what? Either way, the consequences. And now you will suffer them. Because you're an idiot.
Make that Walgreens strip, guys.
No. No, not at 16, 17. Like, if that's the shit that you're getting into at that young of an age, you deserve it. Screw you. That's a bit harsh. I feel like I should get canceled for saying that kind of shit. But, like, honestly, like, that's what you get.
No, I think that's a valid
Especially,
response.
especially if you, uh, damn, what's the word? Especially if you intentionally went raw. Like, if you just raw dogged it at 16, 15, 16, 17, even 18, that's what you get. Loser. I mean, not to say that we don't take extensive precautions to not get pregnant, but at least we're in the position right now that if we had a kid tomorrow, like, it's paid for by the government. I get paid a little extra, and I get paid good out here regardless. So it's like we will be fine if we had a child tomorrow. But
Yeah.
God forbid our son or daughter comes to us with this bullshit. Like, you know what? Especially
You're gonna have that child.
you are going to, especially if it's a daughter, because at least you can actually directly control that. Like, if my son comes home saying like he got some other girl pregnant from down the street, like, I would say you have to have this child because that's what you get. But like, what the fuck am I gonna do? That's not my child. Like, I can't go to the girl's
Yeah, there's
house.
only so much you can do.
Yeah, there's so much I can do at that point. But my intention would be clear. Like, you fucked up. Take care of it.
Yeah, that's what I need to figure out.
Yeah.
Go get a job for the next 9 months.
Go get a job
by
for the
that
next,
point,
like,
you should
18
already be
years.
working. At that point, you should already be working.
Yeah, no. Like, if you're willing to have unprotected sex at super young teenage years, like, you better have that shit figured out, bucko. I feel like I feel like there's a child in the room right now that I'm talking to. Like, I just got our child in trouble.
Yeah.
Wherever they are.
In your nuts.
Yeah. I'm not gonna start talking to my nuts now. Oh, but speaking on virginity,
of nuts.
What? Oh,
well, you just went from talking about your nuts to speaking of.
Yeah, I guess speaking of nuts, a lack of busting them as in you are still a virgin.
What?
This is my smooth
That
transition.
was a weird approach.
This is my smooth transition. A lack of nut busting, aka you are still a virgin. You wrote this down. Deal breaker or not. You can't say no because I was one. So it's against the law.
I don't think I knew at that time.
Oh, actually, you are right because I did. I was a big capper.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
He lied to me.
Yeah, I did lie because I'm trying to impress her. So I'm
You
just like
didn't
I'm talking
know.
all this big game about oh yeah.
I don't
I
think
know
I
what I'm
knew
doing.
I don't think I knew for a while.
No, you didn't know until
'Cause
like 6
even
months after we started dating.
yeah, then he was like, "Yeah, no."
Yeah. No,
He lied to me.
I'm sorry, but like this is the girl that I've been trying to get for so many years. Like if she asked me if I'd done it before and then I said no, that probably would have put a damper on my smooth roll that I had going.
No, I wouldn't have.
Okay, well, from my point, you have to see where I'm coming from. Like, oh God, what if I tell her no? Like, is she even gonna like me anymore? Like, I don't know, because I've heard. Or I don't know if your stance is still the same on it, but I feel like in the past you've been the type to be like, oh, I want, a little bit of know-how from the guy.
Oh yeah, that was something that I was going to talk about once you brought up the question.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm gonna take a back seat while she talks. No, it's not a deal breaker. If anything, I think it's better. But I will elaborate on that after her.
I don't want to say it's a deal breaker, but at the same time, like, I mean, I've never been in a situation where it was like awkward and it was like, wow, I can clearly tell you don't know what you're doing. But that's something that I would hope wouldn't happen, or like not something that I would want to experience. So like, I don't want to say it's a deal breaker, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't want to be in that situation of, well, this isn't going how it should be because he doesn't know what he's doing. I think it just depends on the person, I guess. I don't know, because you were fine. Even though I thought that,
boy, that first night I rocked your shit.
Okay, I didn't know we're gonna go that deep.
I didn't.
Yeah, like,
I went.
Even though you shut up. That is not what this episode is about. Another time. Like, even though you lied to me, I still thought that it didn't feel like that was your first time.
In other words, I'm him.
Yeah. Whatever. Give me a freaking concussion.
Yeah, low key. I was smacking her head. So we did it in my car for the first time.
That's
and like
only
her
where it
head was
ever
hitting
happened.
we were in the back seats, obviously. It was hitting the fucking plastic of the door.
The door.
Yeah. That was funny.
Stupid Malibu. No space in that thing.
It is spacious for a sedan, first of all.
Barely. Still getting my head ran into the freaking door.
Well, that's because you were not strategically placed. You were already up against the thing. I just happened. You know what? Let's not elaborate.
Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would say that it's a deal breaker. I'm just saying, like, if it was ever a situation where it's just kind of awkward, then that's not something I'd want to be a part of.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Because I would think that at that point, you've really gone like that long without doing anything. I would think, you're doing things by yourself. You've seen videos. Like, you gotta know something.
You can watch porn and play with yourself all you want, but when it comes to actually doing it.
Yeah, but it's not that complicated.
I shit you not. The first time we did it, I had no clue where the clit was. I don't even think I put it in. I think you grabbed it and put it in yourself.
I think I did.
Yeah, because what the fuck do I know? All I knew was I got to put on a condom, dark. And that's my job is done.
It was dark too, so I wouldn't have blamed you if you couldn't see.
Yeah, no, like, it's not ideal, like, if you have some experience and they don't, but it's definitely not something unrecoverable. It's not something that should be able to stop you. Because say that, like us, for example, we had such a strong and amazing connection emotionally and as best friends.
Yeah.
If it had gone wrong, I don't think that would have fucked our shit up that bad. Because honestly, that would have been something for us to. Yes, that would have been something for us to laugh about. And then, you just keep going until you get it right.
Yeah.
And that's the whole concept, or not the whole concept, but I think that's why that's a pro to Love Is Blind, because you make that emotional connection, and then regardless of how that first initial connection goes, you're still giving it a shot because you guys have this connection that you want to keep building up. So it's like, I don't think it's a deal breaker at all in any scenario.
Yeah, I won't say it's a deal breaker. I'm just saying that it would suck to be in that situation.
Yeah, it would,
But
but
then it's very situational because then it could be like there are, at least for me personally, like I really wouldn't want to be in a situation where it's like I gotta walk you through everything. Like that's not somebody I want to be with. That's a little frustrating and just like ruins the moment because I don't this no. I'm just thankful and glad that that's not something you had to do with you.
I don't even think that's bad, honestly. I mean, what do you mean by walk you through it?
I mean, not like literally there, like in the moment, being like, okay, do this, and then I'll do this, and then that. Like, I don't mean like that, but like, I don't feel like having to constantly go through trial and error.
Well, but that's what initial sex is, really, because
Not really.
we did a plethora of different things our first few times having sex. But that was because it was just one of those, just like, we're doing whatever because whatever, and then along the way
Yeah,
we
but
find out what we like versus what we don't like.
that wasn't like a learning moment or like a teaching
It
moment
was
that I
for
was
me.
trying to. Yeah, but at that time, I didn't know that that was your first time. So like for me, I'm just thinking like we're just going along with it.
Yeah,
So
no.
like I didn't I just got lucky that that wasn't something I had to deal with. But for me personally, I'm not really for being with
But
people that
even
I gotta
then,
be like, this is where this is, and this is what you have to do.
he,
It ruins it for
but we
me.
still talked about it though, because that's another good thing. Just in general, talking about your sex life, guys. That's a good one. You guys better communicate
Yeah,
that
but
shit.
that wasn't really
That's
like
essentially the same thing. Talking what you like versus what you don't like, what you would like to try, and
it's one thing to like already be like okay and like you know what you're doing or at least you act like you know what you're doing and nothing's awkward and making it obvious that you don't know what you're doing and then talking about stuff later on. That's different compared to somebody who literally has no idea what they're doing that very first time and it's just awkward and uncomfortable. And then now you have to go like redo that every single time because you're trying to teach him or you're just trying to learn how to
hmm,
do things.
I guess.
That's not it for me. Like that's
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I
I
don't.
like our situations. Like we did our thing in the beginning and then later on you just talk about the extra stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of that for me was more educational than not, because like,
Well, yeah, because you lied to me.
yeah. But yeah, no, I would say, I'm gonna expand on what I said. I think it's better, honestly, if both are virgins, because
That's a mess. I mean, it's yeah, I guess it's a learning experience for both,
yeah,
and
it's a learning experience for both. It's another level on you guys to connect on, and not just like a sexual level. It's like that. I don't know why, but I feel like two virgins going through that learning experience is just something more for you guys to bond on, that other couples that aren't both virgins will never have.
yeah, because that's the first time. Like that's probably the first time that you've ever seen each other naked or literally anybody else naked. Like that's
Yeah.
I think being that's another question. Real
What?
quick. Now that I think about it, it's not really a question, it's more of like a situation. But like some people it's awkward to be naked in front of people for the first time, and then there's people that don't care. Like with us, it wasn't, at least for me, I didn't feel like it was awkward.
I like being naked, so
Yeah, you were already just naked in bed all the time.
yeah.
So I guess that wasn't an
We
issue.
sleep naked, so no.
But
I
like in front of me, or like, you know, the whole
what?
thing of like, it's even a thing with like people who are married or have been dating for a while. They're just like not comfortable with like changing in front of each other or like
Oh,
feel
yeah, yeah,
weird,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that kind of thing. Or just being
I
naked in front of each other when it's not like during sex, like just getting changed and getting naked.
I don't
There's some people
understand
that like
people
aren't
like
comfortable
that.
with that.
I really don't get that kind of shit because it's just like if I have seen where your butt crack ends and begins, like what's the problem? I and
Yeah.
like if I know where every little like mark on your body is, like oh, there's a mole on your left cheek, like
I
not that
do
she
have
has
a
one
mole
there.
on my left cheek.
Oh, you do?
Not a mole, it's a birthmark.
Or birthmark? Yeah,
I
like
do
those
have.
are. I was just making that up for an example, but I guess I'll say hi to that next time. Uh, I don't understand that kind of shit because it's just like if like I don't know, like you do so many
it
disgusting things to
definitely
each other,
it
like
definitely falls into the whole insecurity thing because there's people that won't do it with the lights on.
that sucks for them.
That's just how
I
some
don't
people
get that.
feel.
I'm comfortable in my body,
And there's
and I
some that
love
aren't.
yours. So
Yeah. I don't know. That was just a little random thought that came up. But
yeah.
what were we speaking on
No, I was just saying. I
before?
feel like I finished talking about how like being both versions is definitely way
Oh,
better
yes.
because, like I said, it's something that other couples with experience don't have, and I don't know. I just think I hold I've always held that virginity aspect very very special because again, like to be able to hold that for the right person, especially if that per let me rephrase that. Hold that for a special person and then eventually if that person becomes the one, that's even better to me. Like I love that for couples that hold out until marriage. I think that's a great thing because that's just a whole avenue for you guys to explore and love each other through and you get to figure out what you like with each other and you just like it's a whole you can do trial and error on so many things. I mean, I don't know, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know.
Is there anything
um
left on your topic list?
yeah, this is mostly your topic list. The next thing as far as sexual partners is whether body count matters or not. So going from virginity to potentially 100.
That's a bit of a stretch.
um yes,
At a
I'm
certain point, I think so, but
I say yes, but I've come to a little bit more of a mature response because if you would have asked me that like 4 years ago, I would have just been like, yeah, shut the fuck up. And like for the most part, I still have that response, but I can give you a little more than yeah, shut the fuck up. Um,
what else can you give me?
I think now it's definitely relative to age. Because if you're like 30 and you're doing the like I think, you know,
So you get to be a hoe when you're an adult?
no. I'm none of what I'm about to say condones hoe behavior.
Oh.
I'm saying like if you're 30 but you've gone through good good relationships, like some that last a year or two, or like you're a responsible adult. I think anywhere from I don't know 5 to 10 is reasonable. And these days, you know what? These days, because I know how people are these days. You people are disgusting.
5 to 10 is actually a low number if we're going for 30s.
15. I was gonna say 15.
I just feel like that's a range for somebody in high school.
Because that's what I'm saying. People are
At
disgust.
least for a dude, because y'all just be screwing out here
At
for
least for a
nothing.
girl, I would say if anything, at least for a girl, because girls are the ones that have to open their legs,
Yeah, but you
and
guys
it's
get praised for it.
yeah, but that's a whole other topic that we can keep for
That's
another
just
time.
stupid. That's
I'm not
not
saying I
fair.
agree with it. I think if you're a dude at 16, 17 and you're a girl at 16, 17, both with 10 bodies, fucking junior year of high school, or what is that, sophomore, junior year?
16, 17?
Yeah, that's somewhere around there.
Yeah.
If you're a boy or a girl with those numbers, 10, 15 bodies, whore, you're both idiots. Honestly, I wish that every one of those 10 to 15 bodies comes out pregnant. Because that's what you get for being a whore.
That seems to be your punishment for everybody.
I don't know.
Have a child.
The point I'm trying to make is you should not have that number at that age. That's disgusting. Are you kidding me? You are a child. And the potential
that's
repercussions
a bit much for 16, 17.
The repercussions for that kind of a number, like, God forbid you're on this sexual rampage at 16 years old, but body number 5 comes out pregnant, but you're already on 13. Or even worse, bodies number 3 and 7. Oh, I got chlamydia. Oh, I got gonorrhea. And then fucking 12 just called you this morning about, or 12 is calling you in the middle of 13. Yo, I got herpes. Like, now you got 3 different diseases.
That's nasty.
And that's another thing. Like, we didn't even mention that earlier. STDs. Like, that's, I wouldn't say worse than kids. Definitely not worse than kids. But, like, that's another repercussion. That's something terrible that can happen to you as a young kid, especially if you're being a whore. Like, that's disgusting to me. So I think 30, anywhere, I'll say 10 to 15 bodies. Because, like, if you're 30 and you're still not figuring it out, like, if you haven't been in a long-term relationship or, like, married at all, and you've just been, like, thugging it out, but I'll give you the credit for being a bit responsible. I'll say 10 to 15. That doesn't seem bad to me. But I'm going to keep it on the young side because that's what our demographic is. If you're that, mid to late high school, college years, anything over 10 is disgusting. 10 to me is even disgusting. Honestly, that number should be at the most, let's ignore 10. I don't even know why I said that. 5.
That's like 1 a year.
And that's reasonable because at least you've made that attempt for a relationship.
What
one
about
every
for
year.
those who don't want relationships until after they get out of college, but just want to screw around?
Whore.
Why?
Well, I don't know. Because, like, why?
Because that's a different situation. What if they just don't want a relationship?
If they just don't want a relationship, but they want to get a nut off, just beat your meat, man, or, like, play with yourself.
Well, that's completely different. What if they want the person?
Get a pocket pussy or a dildo. Like, what's the point in wasting, especially if you're a virgin and you have no intentions of doing this kind of stuff? Like, what's the point in wasting your virginity in that?
No. This is not including the virgins of the world.
Okay, but there are virgins who are just like, that's another scenario. I'm a virgin, but I don't want a relationship for the next, like, 8 years.
How do they fall into this? They're not doing anything. They're virgins.
I'm saying virgins, like, I'm pretty sure virgins are still allowed to play with themselves.
Yeah, but that doesn't fall into hoe behavior.
Well, no, that's
what I was talking about. I'm talking about people who just don't want relationships, but they're in college. They're clearly of age. They just don't want to settle because maybe they got other things going on in their school career that they don't want to be tied down.
You don't have to be,
but they want to be intimate with people.
I don't see the good in that. That to me is still maybe not whorish, maybe a little lighter, hoish behavior. Because I don't see the need in giving yourself to somebody if it's not going to lead anywhere. That's what I hate about any kind of non-genuine sexual relationships. Why? Like, why? Why waste your time on somebody, getting to know them, getting to that point, especially if it's a one night? That's even worse, one night stands. But, like, if you just, like, get to know them, oh, you're friends, oh, wait, you're hot, kind of, like, after 2 weeks, and then you guys hook up, and what? Like, that's useless. If you're not going to make a full relationship out of your sexual relationship or before the sexual relations, like, fuck off. That's disgusting.
Well, there's two different sides to that. Because there's you and the group of people that value that, and then there's people that don't think it's that serious.
Well, I think it should be that serious because I I definitely subscribe to that line of thought that says, every time you have sexual relations with somebody, you're giving a piece of yourself that you're just never going to give back. So if you have no intentions of having a relationship or getting married or whatever, but you're still just fucking about, like, say one day you get to that point where you're just like, you know what, I want to settle down. But now it's just like you've given your so much of yourself to all these different people, and it's just like you're never going to be able to, in my point of view, I don't think you'd be able to give 100%, like on a like a super spiritual level. Like, I don't think you're all there.
I don't know. I don't know how they think.
And that's why I say, like, I always valued my virginity, and for that reason, because I don't see a reason why I should go fuck whoever and waste my time. It's not going to lead anywhere. That's the number one thing I hate about one night stands specifically. The fuck is the point? Just to get your nut off, you could easily just beat your meat. Just beat your dick. It's not that you don't need to have sex with somebody and then also potentially face repercussions for it. That's needless. Because how many one night stands have come out with a pregnancy or a STD?
Yeah, it's happened many of times.
Millions, trillions, billions.
That's a new number.
I think I made that up.
Yeah, you did.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's pointless. It's a waste of time, and the potential, like, the risk is always there.
Yeah.
So if I had confirmation from you at any point that we were never gonna be a thing, I would have cut you off so fast.
Before or after the X?
Before, no, I'm saying, like, if you would have told me in our quote unquote friendship stage, like, yeah, you're a good friend and whatever, but this is never gonna happen.
I denied you multiple times.
Yeah, but you always left the door open. That's why I never. You always told, or no, not always. You told me no twice, and
Yes.
both times were non-believable.
Were those not valid rejections?
No, not at all.
No, I know they weren't. I'm not even gonna get into that.
I
know they weren't.
You can't tell me no, but also be crying and then be like, "Oh, this feels like a breakup." What? We're a breakup? If you're saying that this feels like a breakup and you're crying in my arms, fuck you. You're telling me no. You are clearly in love with me. Well, clearly.
Duh.
Like, you were just saying no because you were just trying to, like, I don't even know. Oh, because you had a boyfriend at the time? I wouldn't even call that a boyfriend. You guys were, like, basically over with. You weren't even in the relationship mentally. You were just there physically. I was. You had already been checked out. There's no point.
Yeah, for a little while.
So but, like, say, maybe the relationship was a little bit better, and you were like, you know what? No, I have a boyfriend. I cannot continue this relationship because I need to be respectful to my man, whatever. I would have been like, you know what? Good for you. But I had better intentions for our relationship. So goodbye. Like, I'm not going to sit around and still be your friend, because then that's just going to be damaging myself.
You wouldn't be friends with me anymore?
No. Because it already hurt to be best friends with you and have that door open. If the door would have been shut.
You stayed.
Because the door was
through the door.
Because the door was open.
Well, that's your fault for being tempted and
no, that's through. Your fault for leaving the door open.
No, I did it on purpose. You failed.
Well, if you did that on purpose, then why are we here?
Well, you can't complain if you're the one coming through the door all the time.
Yeah, but you left it open. And plus, you're saying that like you had no intentions of being with me. We both knew that we were in love. We both knew that this was happening.
Well, yeah.
But if you had given me the hard no, like, even if your relationship was shit before me, if you just said, like, strictly no.
Did I not?
No, no, no.
I
Again,
don't remember.
I remember specifically. It was very traumatic and sad for me. You told me no, but then the first time was
I don't remember the first time.
when you said this felt like a breakup and you were crying.
Was that in the driveway or was that the second
Yes.
time? So when was the second time?
I don't know.
Was
I
the
just
second?
remember the
Do you have to
word.
pee?
Yeah, I have to pee really
Yeah, you're
bad.
moving everywhere like a
Yeah.
child.
I don't remember where or what exactly. I just know the words that were spoken.
Or was the second time when you sent me the voice message? Was that your way of
I can't think right now. I have to pee.
back from his pee break?
I had a full tank. That shit
Yeah.
was crazy.
He's such a child. See, that's how I know when he needs to pee. He's squirming everywhere. He literally, like, even if we're at the store, he's there stepping around, moving his legs, crossing them. And then in bed, he's over here, for those who are on Spotify and not watching us on YouTube, squirming his legs everywhere, moving side to side. That's what he does when he has to pee.
Yeah.
Such a child.
Yeah.
They're just holding your weebie because you have to go.
Yeah. What was I saying?
Anyways, I think
The
that
point
was a good
is,
ending point.
yeah, the point was that you left the door open. There was never a hard no. But if you told me no, this is never going to happen. Because you always kept saying,
I
no,
said you'll
not
never
right
know.
now.
Or I said you'll never know. Or you never know. Sorry.
No. You always said, because my complaint, or whenever I would complain about being single to you, you'd always be like, oh, you never know.
Yeah, I have
Or
a screenshot of
I'm
it.
gonna be alone for the next 2 years. Oh, you never know. That's what you would always say, but I never paid any attention when you said that because that could have applied in a general sense.
No, I was
I
saying it
knew
on
what you were
purpose.
saying. I knew what you were saying, but I just ignored that because I'm just like whatever. But whenever we specifically had the conversation, when I brought to you saying, "Hey, I have feelings for you. I want this to happen," you would always say, "No, I can't right now," or no, but maybe later. You left the door open. So that's why I always stuck around. But if you had said specifically, no, this isn't going to happen, I do not have feelings for you like that. Like if you laid it out flat, I would have just cut you off because sticking around for somebody that I am so deeply in love with would have just been hurtful as fuck. Because when I stuck around with the door open, at least I had the peace of this will happen eventually. So no matter how much hurt I went through, I had that saving grace of this is going to happen. You just need to stick it out. Otherwise, though, you just told me no. I had to cut you off. I cannot stick around for that.
Is it why?
Because the way you kept complaining to me about all your relationship problems, but if you told me no, now I got to sit there and listen to your relationship problems, offer advice and consolement.
Yes.
And I get no reward in the end.
Yes.
No, I'm cutting you off. Hell no.
Well, now this is where we are.
Yeah, because you left the door open.
Yeah.
I win.
Whatever. That was a very filled podcast.
I don't know. How long was this shit?
It's almost about 2 hours.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoy it because I feel like that was a lot of pretty good stuff.
That was a lot of information.
Yeah. Parenting stuff,
Babies.
marriage. Yeah. It's all good topics, especially for our age group because our age group, 21, 22, 23, like
21.
This is kind of that age for some. for some
Getting there. It's good to watch for preparation.
Yeah, it's
open your mind a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you need to have on your horizon. 22, 23 years old and, getting into that mind frame. Cuz, if you're single right now, just know that it probably won't be like that forever. And since that's the case, You better start thinking about those things. And if you are not single and you are in a pretty good relationship, I would consider having those conversations.
Yep.
See where you guys are at.
They're good to have.
Dip your toes in the water.
It's a little bit better to, have those conversations early on, because then I don't want to say it'll feel like a waste, but at the same time, like, there's no point in continuing with somebody if you're going to be on two completely opposite sides, or want something that you don't, and you just went through that whole time thinking that it would have been more.
Yeah.
So have those conversations.
Oh, and I totally forgot to post about our video that just went up. It went out 52 minutes ago. The title is "He Just Couldn't Hold It In."
Yeah.
You can probably guess based off of context clues of what I just did,
He has a bladder
what I
problem.
can't hold in. I don't have a small bladder though.
So then what's your issue? Why do you always squirm everywhere?
Because like when I really have to go, that means there's a lot of piss in there. It's not because I don't piss on like a frequent basis like you do. Like you have a small bladder.
Yes.
When I have to pee, that means like there's a gallon waiting to come out.
Well, if you made it this far, thanks for sticking around. Hope you took some notes. Hope you can take something out of this.
Yeah. Hope you learned something from young married people. As I always say, if you have any questions, let us know. If you would like any advice, I feel like we have stuff to offer. We are young, but we are married, so we are adults. We have things to offer. We may not be as old and experienced as some of the other successful older couples, but
we have a little something.
Yeah, we can definitely offer a different side of experience or advice because we are young. So take that into account.
Yeah, and I feel like, we are in that younger generation, so obviously that's the next group of people going into the world. So I think our experience and thoughts and advice are valid.
Yeah. She gives out, like she's mentioned like 5 times already, she gives out advice on like a daily basis because people on TikTok and Instagram are always messaging her about military or just young marriage things. So
yes. So let us know in the comments or drop a question in the Q&A after this podcast if you're listening to us on Spotify.
Yeah.
And tune into yesterday's video if you haven't already. That was a fun little vloggy vlog of some things that we mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, but you can go watch it and look at all the beautiful things that we got to see.
Yep.
So subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Follow our Spotify podcast. Rate us 5 stars. Anything else you would like to add?
Don't have irresponsible sex at a young age, or else you have to keep the child. That's the consequence.
I think you made that point very clear in this podcast.
If you get an STD, keep it.
Oh.
How about that? No, I'm just kidding. Don't. Go get cured. Okay? Go get cured. Take your medicines and shit. But like, don't be idiots, guys. Make smart decisions. Don't subtract from the population. And if you do add to the population, make sure you're ready for it. And if you're not, well, then figure it the fuck out.
Alrighty. And on that note,
ciao.
We will see you in the next podcast.